Tom Leonard Jeanette. He calls his right-hand man and says, Bellino won. We don't have a jacket for Bellino. Go out in the morning and get a jacket, get it embroidered for Bellino. So, here we come. And now, I want to introduce the man that I want to be like someday, the man I emulate, my main babe, our congressman and your congressman, Tim Walberg, and his lovely bride.
I'll tell you what, we told Joe with hand signals from the back to keep vaping, vamping, and whatever else, not vaping. He's the only guy that could do that without dying up here. Delighted to see you all here. And I know that you came because you are true patriotic Americans. Yeah. You want to make America great. Monroe, Michigan knows how to do it. It was just about 2 months ago. My office got a call from the White House, and they asked me this question through my staff. Would you like to have the president come to your district? Yes. Well, they checked with me. I said, absolutely. Why wouldn't I want the president to come to our district? He won Monroe County, big time. The 7th district probably was the district that gave in to win in Michigan. And why wouldn't it? The 7th district is the birthplace of the Republican Party, 1854, under the Oaks, Jackson, Michigan. That's where it took place. Ripon, Wisconsin, as I tell my friend, the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, you had a great idea, but you couldn't carry it out in Ripon. We had to do it in Michigan, and we got it done. And Abraham Lincoln was our first nominee for president 2 years following our introduction. So this is the place to be. So I said, absolutely. That the government can't grow. They never could. It's us. We the people that grow the economy. Why wouldn't I want a president to come to my district who now, just this last month, 3.7% unemployment. That hasn't been that low since 1969 when I graduated from high school. That's unbelievable. 50 years. Also, why wouldn't I want a president to come here to my district that now has, by record, the lowest unemployment rate for Hispanics, for African Americans, for Asians, and almost for women? Keep working, ladies. You'll be and that's going to happen. And now we have India saying, we want to start opening bilateral relations again toward a trade agreement. And Japan comes and says, we want to do that too. And President Trump told us a couple weeks ago in a meeting with him, we're going to let Japan hang out there a little bit. They've been bad to us. We rebuilt them, and they've been kind of bad to us. But eventually we'll talk to them and we'll get it done right. We'll be good friends. And so now, what does China see? Korea deal done. The U.S., Mexico, Canada deal done. They see that we have the European Union talking to us and wanting to do what we want them to do. We see Germany just this last week saying, okay, I'll buy your LNG. And we see Japan and India talking to us now, and China's being marginalized. Why wouldn't I want a president like that? More importantly, why wouldn't I want a president to come here who believes in America and wants America to be as great as it can be, just like it was, and oh, by the way, in the minds of everybody else as well. And that's what we're seeing take place. And that's why we passed the largest tax increase in the history of the United States. That's why we passed more regulatory reform in the first 3 months of this administration, with the president saying, bring it on, keep sending it. Mine was the 14th of 14 that got signed in those first 3 months. This is leadership. And this is what Monroe respects. And this is why Monroe went for the president. When everybody else said, oh, Monroe's a Democrat bastion, they won't go for Trump. Oh, yeah? Those great workers out there in the auto industry, electrical union members, Teamsters, they heard a guy who talked their language, who believed in their God, who believed in their country, and was willing to stand up and fight. So I can't tell you today that I've got President Trump here, but I got something better. President Trump doesn't waste energy on districts that are going to win and we're going to win.
That's right.
Why? Because we worked it. Why? Because we've done the things that President Trump and Americans agree with. And we've seen things happen. So today, I get to introduce to you, of course, she came here because you knew she was going to be here. Lara Trump, who this is the first time I've had the privilege of meeting her. I've seen her, had a chance of meeting some of the other Trumps, talking to them and saying, you know, they're the real deal. They're a family that believes in America, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. But also, she loves horses. I love horses. She's an equestrian, I'm an equestrian. She loves dogs. I love dogs. She has a degree in communications. I have my master's in communications. She's probably better. She also has a culinary degree in French pastry. Now, I don't do that, but I sure love it. Yeah. Especially when it's produced here in America. But beyond that, what really impressed me about knowing a little of the facts and background information about Lara, that she has a husband she loves, Eric. She has a son, Luke, she loves. But she's also a triathlete and marathoner. And that's why she is able to be out, like the rest of the Trump family, day in, day out, hour after hour. She didn't sign on this when she got married, I'm sure. But she stuck up, drove up to the plate and said, I will run the race as necessary to make sure, not simply my father-in-law is reelected, not simply that his friends in Congress are reelected, but that America is great again for all of us from here to eternity. Lara, thank you for being here.
Now, the midterm elections are underway, and it is so critically important to the future of this country. I was with my father-in-law last night in Houston. Did anybody see that rally? And I told him that I was coming to Michigan today, and he goes, you know what? I love Michigan. Tell the people of Michigan that I said hi. So a big hello from the president to everyone. And we love Michigan because, remember, the Democrats, they thought that they had Michigan locked down. They thought that this was a blue state. Not anymore, folks. Michigan is red, and we're going to keep it going red, right? So, 2 years ago, I think that we all expected that my father-in-law would do well. I have to tell you, I'm so proud of what he has achieved in less than 2 years in office. I can tell you I never expected to be a part of all of this, but it is an honor. It is so great, and I couldn't think of anything better to be doing with my time because, as Tim said, I have a 13-month-old the Senate to vote alongside the president like Tim, because other than that, we know what the other side has to offer, right? Yeah. If you had any questions, by the way, about what the Democrats would be like if they took control of things, look at the Kavanaugh confirmation. Look at the disgrace. Look at how low they have gotten. And I'll tell you why they're that low. Because they are terrified and they are desperate. They don't try and stop a loser, folks, but they do try and stop a winner, and Donald Trump is winning for the United States of America again. And they don't know what to do. Because remember, he was never supposed to even get through the primaries. Remember? He came down the escalator, everybody remembers that day, and they said, this is a joke. There's no way that Donald Trump is seriously considering this. I'll tell you what, his life would have been a heck of a lot easier had he never come down that escalator. He would have saved himself a lot of money. He would have kept a lot of friends. And I use the word friends loosely because your real friends stick with you. All the rest of them have gone. It would have been a lot easier for him never to have gotten in this race. But he knew, I think, that he was probably the only person who could do what he's been able to do in this country, right? We were headed in a very scary direction, and he was getting as frustrated as we all were watching it all happen. And he sat all of us down about 2 days before he came out and announced he was running for president. And he said, you know, this is going to be tough. They're going to come after me. They're going to come after all of you guys. And I want to know that you guys understand this. Now, I don't know that we knew it was going to be this crazy. About Donald Trump, a man who, by the way, the media in Hollywood loved until the day he announced he was running for president as a Republican, right? If he had announced as a Democrat, oh, forget it. They would have fallen over backwards for anything he needed. We all know that. But he understood what he really wanted to see happen in this country and what needed to happen in this country. And I always tell him, you know, great leaders in their time often are misunderstood. Look at this country. I got to see your state. I got to see all these beautiful factories that had been shut down, that once were vibrant and full of life and jobs and hope for people, that were no longer there. Ladies and gentlemen, they are coming back to life. There's a plant moving from Mexico to Michigan to build Ram trucks, coming back, almost 3,000 jobs for this state. It is so incredible to see it all happen, and they said that it was impossible. Isn't it funny, though, all the things that they say are going to happen with Donald Trump, but they don't happen, right? The economy was going to crash whenever he took office. Stock market now at record highs, unemployment record lows, 4.2% growth in this country. I think that's a little better than crashed, right? I think so. Tax cuts were supposed to be crumbs. I don't know, how are the tax cuts, everybody? Important. I'd love to be home right now, hanging out with my son, taking my dogs for a walk. Yes, hanging out with my husband too, don't worry. But I'm out here because I understand the gravity of the situation. The reality is, all the forward progress we've seen happen in this country would come to a screeching halt if we had a Speaker Nancy Pelosi and a Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. And don't forget about old Maxine Waters, because she would have some hand in all kinds of chaos too. We already know that. It is a very scary thing. Don't forget, they will try and impeach this president as well. They will work nonstop to resist him, to obstruct anything he wants to do, to continue all this great progress we've seen happen in our country. So that is why I'm here, and that is why I know you guys are here. Ladies and gentlemen, 14 days, you don't need rest, you don't need sleep, y'all gotta get out there. Knock the doors, make the phone calls, go vote on November 6th, and don't just go vote and go home or go back to work. No, you gotta go to your neighborhood, pick up your neighbor, pick up your friends, pick up your family, take everyone out to Trump won in 2016. You are the reason that we are going to make sure that Tim Walberg is right there beside the president every step of the way, moving forward. You guys have some great candidates in this state, and I'm here to support them because I know how important this is. And people like to ask me all the time about the election in 2016. Well, did you think that Donald Trump was going to win? And my answer is always yes. I knew he was going to win. I'll tell you what, I traveled around this country, and everywhere I went, people came up to me and said, we are praying for you, we are praying for your family, we are praying for Donald Trump. God was in this election, folks, and he's still in it today. I knew. I also knew because everywhere I went, I had incredible crowds like you guys turn up, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not even the candidate here, what's going on? And then I go back to New York for one day a week to change the Carolina or Iowa or Florida or all over this great country, and I would feel that there was something happening. The number of people that came up to me and would say, you know, I was a Democrat my whole life, I'm voting for Donald Trump. I've never voted in my life and I'm voting for Donald Trump. This is my first time voting and I'm so excited to vote for Donald Trump. It's still happening in this country. They still don't get it. In Hollywood, in New York, they don't get it. We get it. We got it in 2016, and I'll tell you what, if I have anything to do with it, and I know if you guys have anything to do with it, it's not just going to be a red wave, it's a red tsunami coming on November 6th. So thank you you guys for all that you're doing. Keep up the great work. Remember, no one is sleeping. No one is resting. We've got to get out there. Thank you for the great support for our incredible congressional candidates like Tim. We're just so pleased to be here for you today. Thank you for doing everything you can for him. Thank you for the great support for the president. Really appreciate everything. All right, guys, enough of me. Everybody's got to get out there and get back to work. Thank you so much.